Welcome back to the cooking show. This is March, so a couple special things happen in March. It's National Nutrition Month for anybody that did not know that. So we picked some recipes that have a healthy spin on them so we can create some fun things for you tonight. We're going to create quinoa stuffed peppers, and we're going to create a smashed chickpea salad, and then we're going to have banana bonbons, peanut butter banana bonbons for dessert. So what we're going to start with, you should have your quinoa cooked, but have that on the side. And what we're going to start with is the bananas because they need to actually go in the freezer before we coat them with chocolate. So you have 2 bananas and you want to get 12 slices per banana. Okay, so we're going to peel our bananas. We can cut off the end. Just going to cut the bottom off. So you want to get 12 pretty close to even sized slices. So about 1/3 of an inch. That's a little bit bigger. About 1/3 of an inch. So we want 12. You may not use that end, but if you want to use the others. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the tough part is making them sit if they're not quite level or not quite squared. So I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'll leave that for the side. I'm going to go 12. That one's at end. 2, 3, 4, 5. 12. All right. Now you have peanut butter. So you have a 1/4 cup of creamy peanut butter. And what you're going to do is, instead of, it talks on the recipe, it talks about squeezing it through a pastry bag, but because of your small quantity, you'll lose more than you gain on your bananas. So it should be nice and soft. And you're basically going to kind of make a sandwich out of your 2 slices. So we're going to take center. Okay. And I'm going to put the half down and then I can put the other half. Then we're going to come back and put the popsicle sticks in there. So just guesstimate how much you're going to need. And again, it's not going to hurt if it comes over the edges because that chocolate is going to fill that gap. They get a little slippery. So bonbons, interestingly enough, a little bit of a fun fact here. Bonbons started in France. Whoops. And basically it is a double word for good. So bonbons was all about something good. Most of the times now we think about it in bonbons having some form of chocolate. And that's what we have today for us. Anybody cooking with us tonight?
Yes.
Maybe. Hey, Chantal.
Hello.
All right.
You said hello. And then Sharice said it also.
Oh, very good. Hello.
Hey, Lara.
Hey. Hi, Billy. Okay. So we're just going to keep doing that until you get them all covered. And I have a decent size half sheet pan, so you don't have to have anything this big if you're going to not need this large, or if your freezer does not hold this type of a space. Cut your dish down. Just make sure they're flat. That'll help them when they're in the freezer. Whose favorite sandwich was peanut butter and banana? Has some ties to our lovely state of Hawaii. Does anybody know? Peanut butter and banana was a sandwich favorite for this. There's actually two people that I have, but one of them very famous to Hawaii. Does anybody know?
Was it Elvis?
The trivia here. You are right. So Elvis, one of Elvis's favorite sandwiches was peanut butter and banana. All right. And then you may or may not have a little bit left over. You can try and put that into one of your sandwiches. Okay. And then you're going to grab your popsicle sticks. And you're probably going to have, you may have extra popsicle sticks, but if not, it's all right. So what you're going to do next is you're going to try and push this through from the top down. Okay. And a little bit of peanut butter squishes out the side, which is okay. Oops. The other person was a president. Does that help anybody? This president is still alive. Trying to remember where they're from. I want to say Chicago. It's not Obama's. Not the Obamas. All right, so we're gonna put these in the freezer just like that. And again, my sheet is very big for what we're gonna do. So the other person, anyone want to guess? Let me try and give you a little more hints. This president became a vegan in after presidency because he had a quadruple bypass. Does that help anybody?
President Clinton.
Does anybody want to guess that?
President Clinton.
Yes. So he is the other banana peanut butter fan of sandwiches. As far as like peanut butter fun facts, 540 peanuts is used for 12-ounce jar of peanut butter. Peanut butter has to be called peanut butter. It has to be 90% peanuts. It can't be anything else. So a few more fun facts. What else do I have on there? Who are the famous ex-presidential peanut farmers? One of them is still alive. One is not. Does anybody know who those ex-presidents are? So this ties back to president historical facts.
Is one of them Jimmy Carter?
So now we're going to do the peppers. Jimmy Carter is one. Where is Jimmy Carter from?
Georgia?
And this is where his peanut farm was. Georgia. Yeah. Does anybody else know the other? This one is long gone, historically, very long time ago. From Virginia. I don't know if that would help anybody. From Virginia, I'll let you think about that one. This president actually also, so some of you have had 181 with me. This president also was the first person to put ice cream in the White House. That might trigger what we remember, what we said before in class, or what I think we've talked about it here in our cooking show. So that might give you a clue. So that last president is also part of that. But peanut butter sandwiches, average person in the US consumes 35,000 peanut butter sandwiches. 35,000 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches come from 1 acre of peanuts. The group of people that eat the least amount of peanut butter, country-wise, is the European nation. So they usually eat 1 tablespoon or less. Compared to in the US, we are closer to, if we as Americans consumed the amount that they consider, we would cover the bottom of the Grand Canyon every year with peanut butter if we counted how much peanut butter the Americans consume. So Europeans are not into peanut butter. That's a good signal there, but the Americans are very much into peanut butter. So we are going to get our peppers ready. And again, you've got a tricolor pepper mix, which is really nice. If the bottoms are a little bit wobbly, what I would suggest is give yourself a good flat surface, because we're going to stuff them and then we're going to bake them. So if you need to cut an edge off a bit just to keep it flat, that might help us when they're cooking so they don't get too top heavy. How many colors of bell peppers do we have? Does anybody know? That one sits pretty square. Or what are some of our variations of peppers? And I'm actually just cutting it very much to the top, and then I'll come around the edges. So how many colors of peppers do we have?
Five.
Well, obviously we have we have 3 right here. What are our colors? Okay, so 5 colors. So can we name the colors? So obviously we have red, orange, yellow. Then we have green. What are some of the other colors that we have? There is a purple green pepper. Beautiful, actually. And there's a somewhat new one, and it's considered a Holland or Aloha. You might have seen it on the shelves. The funny thing is that it is grown in Holland, and it will not be grown from a seed because they grow it from the plants. They take the plant sprouts and then grow it that way. You cannot buy seeds. If you were to plant the seeds from one of your Aloha peppers, you will get a traditionally yellow or orangish colored pepper. You will not get the streaks that you see on those Aloha peppers. The reason is because they use it from a cultivar from the plant rather than the seeds. The Dutch are trying to keep it like a top secret plant process. So maybe one of our plant groups will come up with a Aloha pepper. Okay, I did wash those too. So if anybody missed washing those, make sure you do that. Interesting fact on peppers, high content of vitamin C, right? So they're nice and loaded with vitamin C. In fact, they're actually 3 times more than oranges by volume. So kind of a fun fact that peppers are pretty loaded. How do I get my different colors? How do I get orange or red or yellow or green? I don't know if there are variations of plants, but they all start green. Then they age and they turn color. So really what we're getting is a green bell pepper that turned red or a green that turned orange. So that's how we get our fun colors. Okay, you have your quinoa. And that was about 1.5 cups. So your recipe for the peppers is cut in half. So if you have more than that, that's fine, but you're going to be using, our recipe is actually a half recipe. So we're going to put in that with our quinoa. We're going to mix there's corn, green chilies, diced tomatoes, and black beans on the bottom. And we're going to put all this together with our quinoa. And also the cheese. You should have a PS. That is your pepper spice. So put your spice into there. And then you're going to also add your cheese. And then I think I need to chop up some cilantro. So we're going to have you chop this up in a second, and you're going to add your cheese as well. So we have feta and we have Monterey Jack. So again, you could change the cheese's variety to whatever you like, but I'll set that aside for a second. And I'm going to cut up my cilantro. Make sure you rinse your cilantro. Okay. All right, so I can get rid of the bigger chunks you know, the bigger stems, but you can pretty much, anything that's kind of in the middle is fine. I always tell anybody that uses cilantro, remember it's not a cheap herb, but it's good. You want to use it, but if you're gonna chop it up, you can use the stems as well. You don't have to throw those out. And what is another name for cilantro? There's a couple names for cilantro. I don't know if anybody
Coriander?
has that.
Or is that the seed?
Yes. So you might see a recipe that says fresh coriander, and that's just cilantro. Or you might see whole coriander seeds. So we're going to chop up our, just want to get it flat into one spot, and then we'll mix this up. It's totally up to you how big you want your chop. Okay. Then we'll add that to our chickpea mixture. Or not chickpea mixture, our quinoa mixture. I have all kinds of things tonight. Here we go. Then we'll mix that up. And we'll put that in we're going to stuff it into our peppers. So I try and use a little bit smaller of a spoon, because a big spoon will kind of smash you don't want to. Happy New Year. So we have a good mixture of color here. All right. And we're just gonna make sure this is mixed. Just get your quinoa, if it kind of stuck together. Some of the nice benefits of quinoa, this is actually what we call a complete protein. It's a plant protein. It's not we think about rice as grains, but this one is actually the seeds. So the seeds of the plant is what we get quinoa from. And it's considered a complete protein because it's got all 9 essential amino acids in it. So it's kind of a nice opportunity. It's loaded with carbs. So just remember, it might be high in protein, but it also has plenty of carbs for us. I am going to grab another sheet pan to put my peppers on so I can bake it. So I'm going to just stuff these in. If you have cheese at home, I mean, you could always add cheese on top. If you didn't add your cheese yet, you can keep a little bit for the top, and it'll just be a little bit of a topper. Put it here, and I didn't stuff it tight. I didn't like shove it in there. I'm kind of loosely packing it in. If I need to add more, I can. You kind of want to have it a little bit over the top, so it gives it a nice topping. Okay, so we'll stuff the yellow one. So again, you can, this could really be jazzed up with anything. You could use rice. You don't have to use quinoa. You can use different kinds of beans. And this one it's a really versatile recipe to try. You could use it without the cheese and make it vegan. Boil the quinoa in a vegetable broth versus chicken broth. So kind of push this down just a little bit, and then I should have enough to top it. Okay. I think the fun thing about quinoa is what it's not the grain like you know, we talk about flour and stuff, but what's another benefit of using quinoa? Besides that it is a complete protein, what's another one of its nice benefits? Oops. So I think what I'll do, because I have those tops, I'm going to put them in here and bake it just so that I can have those with it. Rather than throwing it away. Or you could always chop these up and put them in an omelet tomorrow morning, right? Keep your peppers. So what's another benefit of quinoa? We're going to go in the oven. It's 350 and we're going in there for about 25 minutes. So we're going to watch it. Yeah, it's gluten-free. So it's kind of a nice alternative to a carbohydrate that's made with, that has gluten. Let me go 20, 25. Start. Okay. Now we're going to work on our yeah, I was like, what? Chickpea salad, right? Yeah, we'll do the chickpea salad because we can have the bonbons are sitting a little bit longer. The longer they sit in there, the little bit better they are. But I do have some more fun facts around peppers. Heaviest bell pepper weighed. So if you think about bell peppers, they're not extremely heavy, but we do have some weight records. Does anybody have a guess on how heavy a bell pepper could be, or the heaviest bell pepper? So if you think about peppers, and I don't have my whole one anymore, but if we think about ounce wise, how heavy could a pepper get? Oh, that's a lot. We're going from ounces. Go up a little bit over the ounces. So actually the heaviest one ever recorded was in the UK of 2020. Does anybody want to guess? So it's not anywhere close to like giant poundage, but it's heavy enough that we're not normally used to seeing. A little bit more than a pound. So it's kind of fun thinking about it. It's 1 pound and 10 ounces was somebody in the UK grew it. You know, we think about, well, who cares about pounds? Just last week, I think it was in the news, somebody on the Big Island grew taro. 50-pound root, 50 pounds. That's a small child. Do you think about that's a big amount, and they were going to try and like propagate it and keep it going, but 50 pounds, I think they're going to hit the record books. That's kind of fun. All right, let's see. We're going to get your garbanzo beans. You should have a lemon. All right, here's our fun fact for the day. You are all missing your a quarter of a red onion and your parsley. So if you do have an onion at home, use that. It will help. I mean, this is a salad that's not really flavorful, but you can do a lot of flavor variation. So if you have an onion at home, feel free to add that. It doesn't have to be red. It could be white, but we're going to use that. And then we're going to rinse. I'm going to rinse my parsley off really quick because we're going to use that as well. Okay, so we're going to cut our parsley. Let me flip to my recipe. And we're going to combine, so the can of garbanzo beans. Now, again, this one is organic. There was where did I see it earlier? This one doesn't say it.
Oh.
Well, interesting. So look at your cans of garbanzo beans, everybody. The one I used, the ones we used earlier said no salt added. So look at your look at your cans of beans. It will make a very big difference on how much salt you need to add to the recipe for flavor if you want. We used no salt added one earlier and it was very mild. So we ended up using probably more salt than what maybe even the cans would have offered. So look at your cans before you start adding extra seasonings. Keep an eye on your can. All right, so garbanzo beans. Another fun fact with garbanzo beans, what can I do with the juice? Chantal has done this, I think.
Yeah. Lemon meringue pie.
What can I do with the juice? So I'm gonna drain this one. Yeah. Aquafaba. I will tell you that we actually did it I actually had students do it last semester. It came out, it's interesting. It's a different, it creates that meringue, like a lemon meringue, and you add the sugar and you would not ever know that it was actually chickpea juice. Okay, so we're gonna keep those, let those drain a little bit. I'm gonna cut up my onion. Oops, I already got my onion out and my parsley. I went ahead and used a whole quarter of an onion just for flavor. So I'm gonna cut off that top. And then again, remember, if you think about your slicing techniques, so you can get yourself that, if you're gonna cut the whole onion, give yourselves those slices down to the bottom, not all the way through to the bottom root, but to the other side of your board. And then it'll make your chopping really easy. So again, you wanna get them, this is small. It's all about mouth, what you taste. So you can get it as small as you can. That way you're not biting into some giant chunks of onion. Or if you are I know Shrek loves onions, right? So if you like the giant onion bite, then you can make them bigger. Gets a little squirrely on the end just because they get a little slippery. So just be as safe as possible. Turn it over. Anytime you need to get rid of that. Then we'll cut all the way down to the root. Chop up these guys. A little bit more. Just so that you get that flavor. Remember, every time you cut it, you get more surface area exposed and gives you a little more flavor. All right. Then I can cut up my parsley. Okay, parsley. We have different types of parsley. We just used American, or we just used Chinese parsley. This is what kind of parsley? Another name for this one. This might throw you a bit because this one is a different leaf structure. So this one is what kind? Remember, cilantro is considered Chinese. This one is a flat leaf, so it's actually known as, anybody know? Yeah, Italian parsley. So it has if you ever see Italian parsley, you'll know that you need to go to the grocery store and find flat leaf parsley. I always just tell people flat leaf and cilantro look very similar. So just make sure you're looking for the right one. And we now have our, that should be just about a tablespoon of chopped parsley. Okay. Scoot that over here. And then I have olives. So a little container olives, we can actually dump that out. And I'm going to cut these a little bigger. Again, I like that smaller bite. Okay. Get that going. And then we have our chickpeas. And actually, I'm going to do, we need to zest our lemon. So I'll wash the lemon. Oops. You should have olive oil, a whole lemon. Now, again, with the flavor, I used the entire lemon earlier and we love the flavor. So you don't have to use the entire lemon, but you're welcome to. So we're going to do a, this bowl. I'm going to zest the whole lemon this time instead of doing just half. So again, if you don't have a zester at home, you can use a grater, like a cheese grater would work. Couple of edges of your knife would take care of it. So again, what you're trying to get is that real top level of your lemon peel. That's where the essential oils are, which makes it so good in flavor. Just be careful because these little microplaners can microplane your skin on your fingers really good too. Okay, so we're going to use the whole lemon and then we're going to cut it and then I'm going to juice the whole lemon as well. All right. So nice thing about chickpeas, what are they also used for a lot of times? And this is a great salad, but what do we also use chickpeas for? Main ingredient for something.
Hummus?
Hummus, yeah. So we use it for hummus. And they're nice just on salads. I mean, these are real versatile as far as opportunities to use them. It's great. So I'll cut my lemon in half. If you are worried about seeds, just squeeze it over something that'll capture your seeds. This one's actually a nice juicy lemon. If you have one that doesn't give you a bunch of juice, again, you could use the whole lemon. And if you have to supplement it with, you happen to have lemon juice at home, that would work. It's just, again, the flavor. It's easier to zest it before you cut it than it is to zest it after you cut it, because they do get kind of slippery. And you might have a squeezer at home too. Oops, I dropped one seed. Okay. So I'll pull that seed out. Ah, what am I doing? Take this more seeds out. There we go. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to put this all together in a bowl and kind of mix it up. But basically what I want to do, I think what we found was easier. Instead of trying to mash it in your bowl, what you can do is we're going to combine all this good stuff. We're going to combine the olives and the onion and the parsley. And then I'll take my garbanzo beans. Okay, we'll dump those in there. And that's ready. And then I mixed it up a little bit, just so they can kind of get your flavors to combine. This is when you can add some salt, pepper, and chili flakes if you like. So I have, you have a container of chili flakes. I would say the whole thing is going in. Yours might have too much. If you want to cut back, you don't have to use the whole thing. And then we're going to put some salt. Again, this one had, my can this time has salt in it, so I don't want to go overload. And then we'll put pepper. Anytime you can get fresh ground pepper, you're in, you get a little more flavor profile. So that's kind of a nice way to do it. Okay. So I'm going to mix that up. I did not add the olive oil yet. So that's the only thing I did not put in there. Okay, so you have it mixed. Then you can leave it in the bowl and you can try and mash it. I thought it was really hard to do it that way. So I actually took it and put it on the cutting board and mashed it that way. So I started with a little, I tried to keep the lemon juice in there. But I actually took a big spoon use anything that has some you could push on. And then I smashed it on the cutting board. I felt like that's much easier, much faster than trying to smash it in a bowl because it keeps wanting to run away. You don't need to get to super smooth. We're basically just trying to get it so that you don't have a bunch of beans. So you you get to the texture that you would like. Okay. Scoot that over and get some more on there. A few beans left. How's everybody cooking with us doing? Time-wise, doing all right?
So far, so good.
Yay, fantastic. This week's or this month's cooking is a little bit easier than we did. Last month was a little more technical, but it was a lot of fun and we really appreciate anybody that stayed with us the whole time. Because we did go over we went longer than an hour. Okay. So again, get as soft as you would like. And then we're ready to put it back in the bowl and add the olive oil. And then you can taste it for seasoning purposes. So if you feel like you need to add more salt, pepper, you can. So should have a nice consistency here. And put that back in the bowl. Oops. The other nice thing about garbanzo beans is the fiber content for them. They're a nice high fiber. So you're going to get a lot of fiber tonight in your diet with our cooking. Along with some extra opportunities to use your chickpea juice if you'd like. All right. And we sent you home with a pita bread. And basically what you could do is we sent you home with pita bread and some hummus. So you can put hummus on your pita bread first if you'd like, or you can do it as a dip. Get a little bit more. Okay. So we're mixing this up. And this is when you could taste it at this point, or you can try it with your, after you add the olive oil. But you have olive oil and you can add the whole thing, or you can add whatever you're comfortable with adding. That was probably about 2 tablespoons. Eyeballing it. Okay, so your texture, you go for the texture that you'd like. Again, that's why when I added the extra lemon juice, it tended to pull it together a little bit more. So do what your texture preference is. Then you can taste it if you'd like. That was to taste. Yeah. So we can grab our, no, I'm going to leave it here and then we'll put it. Oh, you want me to taste it? Ah, you want me to taste it? You want me to taste my own cooking? Magic, right? Did you know that it's pretty funny that cooks in restaurants, they rarely taste their own food? I don't know why, but they rarely do. My lemon is good. Needs more salt. So I'll add a little more. I think I really took it up a notch with my entire zest. So if you're worried about the extra lemon, you don't have to zest the entire lemon. Okay. All right. Then you can put that on top of, we have your pita. And I will grab I can put it on top of my saran wrap real quick. So you have a pita bread. And hummus. So you get double the hummus option. We got chickpea pre-hummus on top of hummus. What does hummus have that our salad doesn't? What's in traditional hummus that our salad didn't put in?
Tahini.
Yeah, tahini sauce. So, or tahini paste. Sesame seed, basically. So I did a half on half of it. Okay. You can also make other versions of hummus. I've made carrot hummus. There's chocolate hummus now. So it's that one has the garbanzo beans as a base. And then it's with cocoa powder in there. So you can layer your salad here as much as you want. You're going to have extra left over. You won't be able to use it all on one. And then we can fold it over. And there is your, probably should have put a little bit of hummus at the top for it to stick. Okay. There is your chickpea salad on top of a pita. So now we have a plated one for you. And interesting for you, we talk about edible flowers. Remember, anything that's put on your plate is always edible. So always make sure that if it's there, you are safe to eat it. So we have a couple of different flowers. I talk about that in classes too. So this is society garlic, the flowers, very similar to like an onion flower. You can eat the flowers off onions as well. These are impatiens, so you can eat that. And then we have parsley on the top. So again, colors, these are more like a sweeter version. This is kind of garlicky or that oniony family. So some fun opportunities to use your flowers that you grow at home. Okay, let's go back to, because we have about 4 minutes on our peppers. Let me go back to, we'll grab our bananas. I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, and while I'm waiting to get the bananas, so they're nice and cold, and they should have stuck together really nicely. Actually, I will, yeah, I think we can hang on to these for now. So I'll put those here. And while we're going to heat up, we're going to make our little double boiler system. So we're going to put about 2 inches of water in a pot, any size, a bowl on top. And we're going to set that and get that warmed up. So we want to get this to simmer. So we're going to watch that. In the meantime, I can cut up, do you have roasted peanuts? And these are actually honey roasted peanuts. So even a little more pizzazz to them. And I've got to find my knife. So this is where we can dice up our, you want to get your peanuts, because what this is going to be is an exterior coating. So this will stick to the chocolate. So we're going to cut these up just a little bit finer. And if there is a peanut allergy, you could use coconut, or you could use really anything on the exterior, or just have it with chocolate. So get those Again, it's so that it will stick to your chocolate and it will stick as like small pieces and not big chunks. And with your, thinking back to your chickpea salad, if you need to add any kind of other flavors, you know, you could use green onions. If you have green onions at home, you really can do anything to snazz that up a bit, just since we missed your onion and parsley. So feel free to create some flavor combinations. Okay. So in the meantime, my water is getting a little hotter. I get a little hotter. And you should have coconut oil that is in a small container, and I'm going to add that with my chocolate. So my peanuts are ready. Okay, so we're going to get this going, and you have chocolate chips. And we're going to melt the chocolate chips with the coconut oil. Why should I add coconut oil? What would be the purpose of that? Or how can that help? What can we use that for? Ooh, my peppers are talking to me and I can smell them. So I'm going to check with what they look like. Ooh, pretty. So I'm actually going to put we want to add a little bit of cheese on top, and then we're going to broil them for a minute. So if you want to broil yours, if they're in the oven, I'm just going to add a little bit of cheddar cheese on top. And for anybody that uses like a towel or any kind of a mechanism to get your oven out, make sure you're not using a wet towel. Okay, because that heat goes right through and can catch you. So we're going to put a little bit of cheese on top. Oops. Okay. I hear it sizzling. This is just an extra added. You don't have to do this by any means. Okay, and then I'm going to push it back into that one's gonna back in there, and I'm going to hit this on broil. We good? Oh, I don't think we ever got to that point. It is so that we can get so we keep that consistency smooth, so it doesn't, it's what we call when chocolate melts, it might seize or it gets lumpy and chunky, so that consistency will get better with the oil. So I am going to broil for 3 minutes. And we'll start. Okay. Now we're going to finish. This is getting warmer. Our chocolate and our coconut oil can go on top. And we're going to get this to the point where it melts. So it should turn out to this nice, smooth consistency. If you tempered chocolate is actually heated up, cooled a bit, and then added a little bit more chocolate to it. So this is more of a melting process versus a tempering process. Tempered chocolate is also generally a really high quality chocolate that gets that nice smooth consistency and a shiny gloss when it's done. So if you were to smear it on like a piece of paper, smear it on a plate or something, it would remain shiny and it would have that nice break to it. Versus if we're melting, chocolate chips are not what we consider like the highest quality of chocolate, but it's a purpose for ours is exactly what we need it for. But you would actually use a higher quality chocolate to temper with, and then you have that nice, really nice, smooth consistency. That's what's usually on like your, it could be on bonbons or it could be on truffles. So, See's candy definitely has the mix right. So we're looking at a really nice, smooth. Yeah, thank you. The recipe talks about putting it into another container. After we did it earlier, our suggestion is just leave it in this system and then pull it off the heat. Or turn, if you had gas, you would turn your gas off, but just pull it off the heat. That way the chocolate is not gonna solidify on you. And it will be easy to continue, and you're not gonna lose chocolate by transferring it into another bowl. Okay, so we have that nice smooth consistency. Seizing of chocolate is when a drip of even condensation, if it gets into chocolate, it will what we call seize, and then it becomes crumbly and it doesn't come back together. So you want to avoid getting any kind of drops of water in there. So I'm just going to pull it off of my heat source, and I'm going to spread my, I've only got a couple of seconds left on my, let's see, on my peppers. So yeah, those are looking good. So I'm going to leave that in there. And what we're going to do is grab your banana, spin it around. Oops. And you might use your spoon. There's my peppers. You can tap off the extra chocolate. Trying to get that topping. This is where if you can dip it like into an entire area works. Yes, you're talking to me. Turn that off. And then come over here and roll it into your nuts. Put it back onto your plate that you used, and I will pull out my peppers. Okay. And I'll put them, how about right here on the end? Sorry, you're going to see all my fun paper facts. All right. So in the end, here is your peppers. Okay, so we cut one in half so you can kind of see the texture. The orange, the yellow. Again, we have impatiens and parsley on top. So the charring, you know, again, if you don't like that charred, you can actually pull this off if you're careful. Sometimes that's really a nice taste if you like that. And then again, people char them, and that's what you get those roasted pepper options with. So with each of your little bananas, you'll spin them around. I need to get something in there to help shake it a bit. Remember, your bananas are cold, so that will help get that chocolate to form up pretty quickly. You could do dark chocolate, you could do milk chocolate, anything that you would prefer. All right. You could do almond butter instead of peanut butter. And there's lots of, there's endless variations for this recipe. I have a clump of peanut butter that wants to come out. Roll it. And then we'll put these back into the, we can put them back in the freezer, or you could eat them, you technically could eat them pretty soon after. I mean, the chocolate might be a little bit warm, but because your bananas are cold, that should help that cool off pretty quick. Okay. All right, so I will stop there just so that we can show you what a final product looks like. And here we go. So here is your chocolate bonbons. Beautifully done. So you could keep the nuts in one spot if you want, or you can cover the whole thing. It's totally up to you. Great opportunities. Across. All right, so we have done chickpea pasta or chickpea salad. We did the stuffed bell peppers with quinoa and we did the bonbons. I hope that you had a lot of fun with us tonight. We look forward to coming back. We have one more show before the end of the semester. So look for us in the end of April and we will have that information coming up shortly for you. So join us again. Have a wonderful, this is Friday, spring break, right? So have a wonderful spring break. I look forward to seeing you all the next cooking show. Enjoy. Have fun. Bye, everybody.